Alright, a millionth time's the charm, you know what they say. Hi, it's been a while. When I had made this community post, I thought I wouldn't be away for this long, but now I'm back with the milk and an explanation. I will admit, it is strange that I stopped uploading after my last video where I got 2,000 views, and a string of relatively successful uploads before that, aka my one and only chance to do well in the algorithm. I ended up moving sometime after that video and expected to take some time to get acclimated to my new surroundings and lifestyle. However, instead of bouncing back quickly, I became rather complacent, choosing to spend my spare time at time sinks instead of the meaningful outlets I had. Other than the Counter-Strike map I had started conceptualizing, I hadn't done anything I felt like I applied myself. Sure, I'm a full-time student and work on the weekends. But I want to be more than that. I need to be more than that. There is a feeling that is common in the field of work my studies are preparing me for. Imposter syndrome. The feeling of not being good enough. Your self-worth. This is something that nags at anyone who isn't completely conceited. In my honest opinion, this isn't a completely terrible thing to deal with. Feeling that way was what gave me the motivation to lock in from time to time. It gave me the motivation to do better and to pull amazing things off. Like remembering and knowing nothing about programming, right? Because before then I knew I wanted to do computer science, but I hadn't really I remember doing JavaScript when I was younger, but that was pretty much it. And I've pretty much forgotten everything. So I realized, okay, I need to actually learn a few things. So I started self-teaching myself, and within a month I had a very decent grasp of Java, C, C++, right? I understand things such as, polymorphism, pointers, object-oriented design, the list goes on. I can read a piece of code off of GitHub and understand it more or less. Nothing too crazy or complex, but clearly I'm doing well enough in my classes. I don't have to study for them now. So yeah, and that was all before I ever took my first introductory programming class, just because I said, am I good enough to do this? And I was like, no, then I'm gonna have to teach myself. And look at where I am now. You might be wondering why I brought this up, and it's because in 2024 I handled this emotion in a different fashion. Instead of heeding its warning, I chose to ignore it. I haven't suffered any real-life consequences that I'm aware of, at least. Maybe I missed out on a really cool internship or something, but it is simply just the insecurity that's part of human nature. But just because I hadn't lost anything, grammar's not working today. Just because I haven't lost anything doesn't mean there wasn't anything to gain. And it isn't a sustainable approach to life, and this issue goes hand in hand with another issue that's been pestering me for a few years, and it's the feeling of brain fog. But I won't really get into it because it's kind of irrelevant to the video, but I'm just feeling like I'm not operating at 100%, if that makes sense. All is to say, I have to make some changes, and this YouTube channel is going to reflect that to an extent. I may have made it sound like imposter syndrome was the reason I started YouTube, but recently I've been looking over my older work, and while I'm not very impressed by the quality or creativity of it, I feel the passion oozing out of it. I remember the satisfaction my teenage self felt editing those videos. I will admit I was a very shitty editor. I still am, right? Especially when it came to montaging and basic sound EQ. I know, crazy. Let's hope I don't make that mistake this video. Back then, I thought I was cooking up some masterpieces, but nowadays, if you asked me to post them, I would have been too ashamed to even consider that. I really did it for the love of the game, as some might say, and I still want it to be that way. To be a place where I could just post shit that I think is cool even if no one else thinks it is. At the same time, I want to improve my craft. I have gotten better tools, a little more free time, and new knowledge. Looking at my older content reinvigorated me. and making me want to achieve the vision my younger self didn't quite reach. And I want to get started sooner rather than later. I already have a few ideas on projects I want to take on. One is a series, a challenge one that is. I want to stop playing multiplayer games during March and May. There are several reasons for this. One is the fact that the time sinks I spoke about earlier are multiplayer games. Compared to single player, it feels like in multiplayer you are getting scammed out of your time.
How long did it take you to get to 11 there, Blue? Look at how pathetic this kid is.
Nice. Good shit.
Holding wall.
Yo, those are some good comms you have, Blue.
Yeah, thanks for the comms, bro.
What's crazy is he got reported for griefing and he's doing it on the channel.
It's okay, I'm gonna get him banned for like fucking 2 weeks.
Another similar reason is that a lot of people are complaining about the stress and chaos modern multiplayer titles have been causing them. It would be interesting to see how much more relaxing my time would be if I avoid other players. And the last reason I have is because I have a pretty huge backlog that needs to be dealt with. It would be fun to make weekly episodes of what games I've been playing. Wow, I am really rushing these voiceovers right now, but I kind of want to get them done because, you know, when I try to do voiceovers and I look for perfection, it just never seems to work, so I'll just record it and hope it works. And the other project idea I have is me going back to my roots, which is making gaming montages. It kind of bothers me that I haven't emulated my very inspiration in a quality manner. I love the old school way of editing clips well synced to the song but not overdone with speed ramp abuse, and in general I prefer a more readable style that is edited smarter and harder. I might throw up an example right now. And now, since I play on mouse and keyboard, I can actually hit clips because, you know, I was never too good at that fine motor control of the thumbsticks. Even when I try to pick up a controller, I just don't get how people do it. I don't know how I even was able to do anything on it. It just doesn't feel good, you know? So, I don't have to worry about my mechanical skills anymore. I can try and clip farm now, but we'll see if that's even possible. I must emphasize how much the montage scene has influenced me. Half the music I listened to was from me watching one and thinking, huh, this is a banger, and then searching it up. In terms of what I'm probably gonna edit, any shooter is fair game that I'm playing, of course, but I'm gravitating towards Counter-Strike simply because of the robust demo system that Valve has made, right? It really, you know, Quake demos and whatnot, but also the fact that you have tools like Half-Life advanced effects that, you know, let you put camera animations and all that stuff, which is lovely, right? And I wish that more games cared about having a replay mode that is not only accurate and functional, but polished with a feature set that's geared towards cinematics. Like, one idea that comes to mind is, I think Black Ops 2 Theater had like a dolly cams, and that's pretty cool. I wish more games did that, you know, where it's geared towards filmmaking and, you know, making movies and games and whatnot. And I should mention that, honestly, I'm willing to edit for others because my gameplay just sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not some like cracked out person that's gonna be like getting a billion clips every day, but I wish I just need to get my bearings and feel comfortable with editing first. editing first. I don't know why. Like I said, I'm really rushing the voiceover, but I was saying that I am willing to edit for others. Like I said, my gameplay sucks, but I would just need to get my bearings and feel comfortable with editing first before I make any sort of commitments, of course. And yeah, earlier I've showed this montage made by Snipedown's old clips. Speaking of Halo, maybe I should address the elephant in the room. I've made quite a few videos about this series, but I really don't want to keep going in that direction. Recent times have turned my concern and care for the franchise into raw apathy. I think what ultimately did it for me was 343 rebranding and then announcing that they will be ditching the 20-year-old piece of history in-house Blam engine. I'm sorry to say this, but Halo in Unreal will not be Halo. This company spent the last decade, I'm sorry, I don't want to re-record. It's almost 2 a.m. and I don't want to keep doing this, so we're just gonna keep going. You know, straight from the heart, I guess. But like I was saying, 343 spent the last decade systematically removing the soul and spirit from the game, and an engine switch would be the last nail in the coffin. I genuinely don't think I could care about what happens with quote-unquote Halo. I do wish we could get a spiritual successor to the Bungie-style games, like how Marvel Rivals was to Overwatch. Not that I think Marvel Rivals is a good game, but people seem to be enjoying it. Me personally, I look at a game like Marvel Rivals as, you know, kind of, what's the word, soy, you know, it's like, you could say Overwatch was always a bit cringe and whatnot, but it seems like Marvel Rivals really takes it to the next level. And some might say that Splitgate was the spiritual successor that I mentioned earlier, but it wasn't as grounded as I would liked. Like, you can't really say it's a successor, right? Just because of, you know, all the gizmos that they added. It's not that they were bad. The original game was pretty damn fun, I'll admit, and I actually wish it didn't die, and I wish we could still be playing it, right? There were really satisfying gameplay moments that emphasized your positioning and creativity of the portals, but unfortunately, right, they're making a sequel, and that would be good news, except that it's not, because Splitgate 2 is nothing like Splitgate 1. It's a dumbed down version of the original, right? They simplified the portal mechanics, right? It's not really much thought going into them, and they, you know, to compensate for the less original map design and whatnot that they have, they added classes and abilities, right? So I got into the playtest like last summer, and I was not impressed at all. Like, the game's just not good. And it's really bad, honestly. Like, the game's gonna be a total flop, and when they release it, it's gonna be so dead. I'm not even joking. Maybe the people, the old heads who remember Splitgate coming out and the hype, like, I think it was 2021, summer 2021, everyone was playing it, but so the old heads are gonna be like, ooh, and they're gonna try it, and they're gonna be like, wow, this sucks, and it's gonna die even faster than the first Splitgate did. And it's just really bad. Like, the Splitgate 2, Team Deathmatch is split up into rounds, bro, which is absurd, and every other game mode is. And, for example, in King of the Hill, what you can do, and what I've done when I was playing the alpha, was when the enemy is capturing a hill, because it's round based, so I think you have to capture 2 hills to finish the round, right? And then get the point for that round, like you win it. So what you can do is you can wait till the enemy captures it, right? And then you can jump out with a rocket launcher, you could kill everyone on the hill, cap it, and you don't have to undo it. It's not like, like when you're capturing a flag in COD Domination where, you have to undo the enemy's progress. Nope. You take their progress, so if they were 99% captured, and it's just, you have to wait like one game server tick to capture it, you step in, you get that point. It's really bad, and it's just, the whole game blows, and the decision making like that is just terrible. So, very strange decisions, I'll say, and that tangent went on for a bit too long, I will admit, but I feel like it was necessary to mention. Anyways, let me finish talking about Halo, not Splitgate. At the end of the day, it's been a terrible 10 plus years for Halo, and we might have another 10 years of this bullshit ahead of us. At this point, I genuinely think the only way forward is to have Microsoft abandon the franchise completely and let the fans pick up the pieces. But that's just wishful thinking because, you know, if you try to do anything, Microsoft with their suit and tie is going to be like, oh, we're going to take you to court. Same thing happened with Halo Online. Remember, even if they don't seem to care at all, they're always going to sue, always going to, you know, do cease and desist bullshit. So, wishful thinking. They will continue to make a mockery of what they have until there's nothing left. So yeah, you don't expect Halo-oriented content from here. I might make mention of it in a vid like the one I made with spooky levels, or as background footage if I happen to have some time in the MCC. I mean, spend some time, right, in the custom browser or whatnot. Yes, I'll probably still play some of the Master Chief Collection from time to time to get a fix of classic Halo, unless there's a better way to play classic Halo that comes out, because, you know, they killed the Xbox 360 servers, and, you know, I don't want to set up Insignia or Skylink or all that. I'd rather just play MCC. It's so much more convenient. But if there's another way to do that, and it's convenient, I'll obviously consider it and probably switch to playing that instead, because we really shouldn't be giving 343 or Microsoft any sort of props at this point. However, something that I'm not really in the mood to do is working on my mod for Halo Reach on the Steam Workshop. I got burnt out on it a while ago, and I might still chip away at it here and there, but progress is very slow and my motivation is non-existent, except for the fact that the mod seems popular enough that I ought to give it some love. I'll try and continue to work on it as much as it bothers and bores me, because it's just, like I said, I do things sometimes that I think are fun. Like, the reason why I picked up the editing kit in the first place was, hi, I want to learn how this Blam engine works. So Reach++ was just the product of me figuring out how the Blam engine works. And, you know, my need for knowledge has been satiated. I cannot pronounce anything. I shouldn't be using big, fancy, complex words if I can't even pronounce them. But yeah, I'll try and work on Reach++, but the motivation is gone. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I've got to say. You know, I'm really sorry if the commentary sounds inconsistent, or maybe you hear my breathing. I'll try and mix the audio so it doesn't sound that way, you know, put some music over it, but... And I didn't really mean to get deep into my headspace earlier, but I feel like me explaining it would make it, you know, clear to why I didn't really work on YouTube. There's no need for pity. I honestly have been trying to make this video for a while now, but, you know, if you want the TLDR, you know, I wasn't planning on taking this long break, but laziness got to me, and, you know, I say this a lot, pretty much at the end of all my videos, but I really do hope to upload soon, and if everything goes alright, until next time, see ya.